Howdy, folks. How's it going?
Good.
Zach is in the building.
What's up, Zach?
Yes.
What's up, Zach?
Nothing much. I was thinking about going over the arrays and workflows, but I need to get a webhook payload with an array in it so I could show you guys that. We have some enhancements to the image editor and the social planner. If you guys haven't seen that, that's kind of fun.
I haven't seen it.
All right. Let's see here. So I just uploaded a little AI generated photo here. You know, obviously it's a little stretched out on this post. So, but you can click on the photo now. I think you could do this before, but you can click edit. And then it's kind of funny, but they have all these ones in here that say coming soon. So this is coming soon, this is coming soon, this is coming soon, this is coming soon. But we have kind of like 3 things we could do. So I could set this as a square. This is kind of fun. They have, you know, filters in here, so could do like a little black and white filter, you know, for the car. Make it look kind of cool. Take the contrast way up. Ooh, take the brightness down. Now I still don't know why it's showing. I think it's just in the preview, basically stretching it out.
Right.
But anyway, so they're gonna have some other cool stuff in here, though. I think Sean kind of teased like it's not quite like Canva yet, but you know, I think they're trying to go for more of like a full-blown photo editor. Now, I don't think right now this can be triggered from the media library view. Is that true, Charles? You know?
That's true. It's only available in the social planner.
Yeah, just in the social planner.
Yeah.
Do you guys know if you can post on IG and TikTok simultaneously now? Because before you couldn't.
You can kind of, sort of. So TikTok is still only push. So they haven't connected the business side of TikTok. They've only connected the personal side, which can be confusing. So if you have a personal, either way, you're going to get a push notification to your TikTok app. And you'll have to manually post it through the push notification. Every social planner went through this. Some have fully integrated with TikTok Business. Their business API is the only one that will allow direct publishing. High Levels is going to be.
I'm referring to aspect ratios. Like when you posting a reel, an IG reel, and a TikTok.
Yeah, they're working on that. There has been a lot of complaints about aspect ratios saying one thing and being another, to the point where even people are building stuff in Canva as a reel, downloading it to the correct format, and it's saying that it's not the right dimensions when it's uploaded into High Level. So it is something that the team is aware of, and they are working on fixing it.
Okay, so it's not fixed yet.
It's not fixed yet. No. As far as I'm aware, I still get the occasional complaint, people having problems with it. So there's something wonky going on with the dimensions when it comes to video.
But Charles, you were just saying though that you can't post to a TikTok business account yet, though. That's what you were mentioning.
You can, so that's where the confusion comes in.
Push notification.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's TikTok personal and there's TikTok business. On the TikTok side, on the social planner side, and this goes for any social planner on the market, there is a TikTok personal integration and a TikTok business integration. The business integration is the one that actually directly publishes straight to TikTok if you have a business account. Right now, High Level only offers the personal connection. So even if you have a business account, you're still going to get the push notification. but they are going to be releasing the direct publishing, if not by the end of this quarter, next quarter. That's why you guys need to be on all the town hall meetings.
Too much, man.
They're like, what are you talking about? This is the town hall.
The summary.
Yeah.
So what's everybody working on right now? What's everybody building? Or what are the obstacles that are in your way?
I have an obstacle that I'm wondering if you guys have a solution for. I'm creating a mortgage snapshot, and I want my customers to be able to search by a custom field in the quick search bar under the contacts tab.
All right, let me see here.
Let's say my client is a loan officer and he sends out, 1,000 mailers, and he imports a CSV file in advance, and then a homeowner will receive that mailer and calls in, on the phone number on the piece of paper, and the loan officer that answers says, oh, like, what's your reference ID or lead ID, so that he can just search by them instead of saying, like, what's your first name, but there's no way to search by that custom field.
I wonder if, I think searches are, I'm testing something real quick here. Let me see something. Let's see here.
I'm going to a contact to grab data out of the custom field because I can't think of.
Yeah, so yeah, high level search right now is restricted to only basically name, email, business name, or tag. You can also search by the phone number. You can add custom fields to the view or like in another column.
Right, column.
But it doesn't change the ability to search. To search.
Right. I
I
saw
wonder
on
if there's
ideas board that it said planned or under review, but it seems like it was marked that way since 2022, and nothing's happened since.
How many votes did it have?
It had like 54 or something.
Okay. That's like, yeah, we need to bump it. We need to bump it into the like 200 zone.
Right. I mean, there's a bunch of them that have like smaller amount of votes. They're all like asking for the same thing, just in a different way. So they haven't combined them yet, but I think possibly collectively they do have 200, but I wasn't even sure why they tagged or changed the status to under review when it hasn't even reached like 200.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think that would be awesome to be able to do that. If you have the idea, if you drop it in the chat, I'll upvote it for you.
Oh yeah.
Because that would be the more I think about that, the more you definitely should be able to search via custom field. Yeah, it'd be nice actually if you could toggle on and off what you want to search for. Of course, if you're filtering for it on the backside, that kind of solves for that. But anyway, all right. So, but back to ground zero. So you're working with a mortgage client, and was that the only thing with him that you're stuck on? Is the search thing?
Yeah. Another thing also is with A2P, mortgage is on the campaign registry is like under the category of like high risk. So a lot of these other CRM platforms are, even though they're getting their A2P approved, the carriers are just not having those text messages go through. I'm not sure exactly what the other CRMs are doing to get them approved. Like, I don't know if they're asking for sample messages, things like that, like High Level does. But I'm getting a lot of people that are interested in using High Level or my white label version of it, but I'm just not confident enough to tell them that they're 100% not going to deal with that same experience even after we do get them A2P proof. Because I know during the Extendly onboarding, you guys are offering the A2P registration, but you guys are just copy and pasting very like generic sample messages that have no relation to mortgage. So I'm just not sure if the carriers are saying, well, this is what you said your messages are going to look like, but in reality, this is what you're sending, and this is why we're not having these text messages go through.
So I will tell you, if they're messaging related to lending, there is no way they're going to be able to do it through software using a local number. It will get blocked by the carrier. Even if A2P gets approved, they will end up, they may get a few messages through. Eventually, they will get blocked by the carrier, period. The
Even
only
if the
way
sample
around
messages,
it,
even if the sample messages
that
say,
doesn't
like,
matter.
I see.
That doesn't matter. The carriers are blocking it. So the only way that I know to possibly get around it is a toll-free number.
Like,
Well, that-
getting the toll-free
And
number
even then, you're still subject to carrier blocking, but you're less likely to get blocked at the carrier because toll-free numbers are set up for marketing. Toll-free and short code numbers. So,
I see.
yep.
So
That's
still get the toll-free number A2P verified.
It's not A2P. You just it's not A2P. There is
Oh,
a
it's not.
registration process, but it's not
Okay.
A2P. It is slightly
Okay.
different.
Okay.
There's some things that are similar, but it is not A2P.
I
So you
see.
don't have that registration fee or a campaign fee. You don't have any of that. And yeah,
I remember seeing like some pop-up for a deadline coming up for the toll-free.
that was for the toll-free registration. Yes, originally you didn't even have to register toll-free at all. Now they're making you register them. It's required to register them, but it is not going through the A2P rule. It doesn't fall under A2P.
So it doesn't even have anything to do with the
registration. No.
TCR or TRC. Or
Yeah, the
whatever.
registration group or whatever the heck it's
Yeah.
called. Yeah. Nope.
Oh,
Nope.
okay.
It's something totally separate. And
So
that's
is there still a
why
waiting period for the toll-free number to get
it can be
approved,
utilized
or-
immediately. So as soon as you complete the registration, it doesn't have to be approved. As long as it's in pending state, you can use it. And let me find, I'll share with you a help doc that will explain the messaging limitations as it's in review until it gets approved.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, so unlike local, you can actually use it while it's being verified.
Okay.
Make sure this is the right. Yeah, here you go. I'll put the link in the chat for anybody that wants it. And basically just scroll down about 3/4 of the way, you'll get to a table. And in that you'll see pending verification, verification in progress, daily 2,000 message segments, weekly 6,000, monthly 10,000. And that's while it's being reviewed. So once it goes to verified, you can do 3 SMS segments per second per number.
Got it. Okay. Cool. Thank you for that. And Zach, I put that idea for an upvote in the chat on it, in case you didn't see it.
Okay, let me click on it here. Sweet.
I voted. Yeah, it's under
Oh, yeah.
review right now.
So for those high risk industries, right? Do they basically flag it like if you get A2P verified on the local side or whatever approved toll free, it looks for keywords, right? If you're using specific keywords, it'll flag those.
Well, so you have to think about it this way. So think of it as you have two levels that you can get catched at. So you have the little white picket fence up front. That's the registry. Maybe you get over that, but then you have the wall of the actual carrier. So it doesn't matter if the registry can say it's fine. And then it gets to the carrier, and whatever carrier it's going to is going to have different guidelines. AT&T is going to be different than Verizon. And then it goes into number of reputation, just like with mail. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts in this. It's very similar in some ways to email. You have a sender reputation with each carrier. So while you may get blocked at T-Mobile, you may not get blocked at Verizon or vice versa, or you may get blocked at both of them. Or the registry gets you in the front end and you can't send to anybody anyways.
Interesting. Yeah, and is there a list of the high risk businesses like that?
Just
Is it
go
on
to
Twitter?
yeah, I'll get a list for you.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm just curious about that. Obviously, like alcohol is one, I guess. Lending and loans are another.
Yep.
But
But
yeah,
quick
it's good to
question.
know.
I have the A2P snapshot from Extendly. Is there a video that shows how to use it?
Yes. Yes.
Where would I find that?
Are you so there is
From the learning center, right?
I think it is.
Yeah, it should be in the learning center.
I want to say it is. You should have been granted access to. Yeah, you should have been granted access to the A2P 10 DLC for the agency within the Extendly Learning Center. So I'll drop the link
Okay.
to the Extendly Learning Center in the chat.
Thank you.
And then trying to find that Twilio doc.
Sure. If you can't find it, no worries. I can find it after. But I do have loads of other questions written down.
Good deal, man.
So yeah.
Gatling gun.
Yeah. Rapid fire.
Running riot. Anyway, sorry. Just
love that. I used to play so much Halo.
I know, dude.
Cool. All right. So I guess first thing is with regards to the snapshot, the small business 2.0 snapshot. So from an overview, looking at all the modules, which modules are specifically connected to pipelines or like pipeline automations? And I thought I had an idea here. I think it was, from what I could see, there was only one that stuck out for sure. And I lost it now.
I can tell you.
Okay, yeah. You probably already know.
So, so B005 is connected to two pipelines, I think. The refund and cancellation pipeline and the main pipeline. B007 is connected to the main pipeline. B003 is connected to the main pipeline, not any particular stage, but it'll trigger on any stage. For there's a workflow in there that's listening for inactive opportunities. And then B016, the lead, or wait, is it B016 or B011? I forget the lead form automations.
11.
11, that one should be connected to main pipeline. Just if somebody comes in on one of the opt-in, the lead magnet forms, they should go to new lead on the main pipeline. And I think that that's it. Thinking if there's any others. I think that, so I guess I don't think can't remember if we connected this, but technically B017, if you're using the form, ooh, that reminds me, B008. B008 is connected to new lead stage on the main pipeline. Anytime anybody comes in on any of those channels, including the contact form on the website.
Got it.
And technically B017, if somebody comes in off that form, they could go to new lead also. There's only one like little form in B017. The rest of the link tree is like, you know, just supposed to be links to other places and stuff like that. So
Okay,
it's pretty
so
lightweight. And
3,
all
5,
all the
7.
connecting points always are in the tag router too. So if you go into the tag routers, you should see the pipeline stuff in there.
Okay. Yeah, well, okay, so where I'm getting at is for one of my offerings, I want to include like most of the modules from the small business 2.0, but not all of them, right? And for that specific offering, that tier, I'm actually not going to include pipelines and opportunities. So I'm just trying to think, would there be any issues with using all these without pipelines or opportunities? They just simply wouldn't go into, you know, I guess a pipeline and a stage, right?
Yeah, all the pipelines stuff in the small business right now is what I would call is like it's only one direction. It like reports to the pipeline, but moving people in pipelines does not cause there to be any other actions in the system. Like it's not bi-directional in that sense. And so so yes, in answer to your question, if you trim the pipelines out, there's nothing that will break in the system because of that.
Gotcha. Now, let's say you have the full small business 2.0 snapshot, right? With pipelines and everything, full thing. Now, if we want to dial in a pipeline that's more particular towards that business, what would be the best route of going about that? Would it be creating a separate pipeline? You know, like if we just essentially want to make the main pipeline more granular and oriented towards their business, right? Rather than having like a generic one. How would you go about doing that?
Yeah, so and that's one of the things that we wanted to make really easy because everybody asks to do that. And so yeah, I mean, in theory, you could just normally what I used to do with people, you know, is like a little mapping session when I was first onboarding them into the agency. And it was kind of like, what's your work stream? And you know, they would tell me what their work stream was, and like a lot of times they would tell it to me in like lots of words. And so, you know, out of all of those words, I would dissect out like, okay, so what we're really doing is this milestone, this milestone, this milestone, you know. And in the small business, like in all of the tag routers, you have all of the milestones that could potentially occur in those modules. You know, so for example, like if your niche like is going to be doing calendar appointments and stuff like that, like NB007 in the tag router, you'll have a branch for like appointment set. You'll have a branch for like every different disposition of an appointment, all types of things. And so you can go through all of those kind of like user milestones and just say, okay, well, with this new work stream that we have for, you know, for our client, like which of these use cases, like in this module, do we want to report to the pipeline? And then you just add an opportunity action like directly in the tag router for each one of those instances. So I can give you an example if you tell me like what your folks do, or what niche it is.
Yeah, I don't have a specific niche, but I don't know. Let's do one like, shit, what's a good one with a good opportunity pipeline? I don't know. Someone call out a niche with a good
I mean,
pipeline.
I can do. I mean, like, okay,
Do
so
like
my
martial
brother,
arts or something, jujitsu. I don't know.
Roofing. How about roofing?
Yeah, let's do roofing. That's a good one.
roofing. Okay.
It's very simple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so roofing, painting, home services, like those are all going to be in the same ballpark on like what their work stream looks like, you know, because everybody's going to have, like, a lot of times the first step in all those work streams is get an estimate. And so there's an appointment booked, where somebody's going to go out, look at the roof, look at the driveway, you know, look at the paint on the house, whatever it is, and give them an estimate. Same with fencing. And so on the very front end of their work stream, they kind of have these like estimate flows. Now, currently, there's nothing in the small business, as you know, like for estimate handling, because we're still getting, we still don't have the workflow triggers that we need to do that yet. So, but that would be something that we potentially would add on to the small business, just as a side note. But the so they have this little estimate flow. So then after they send out an estimate, then they have to get approval on the estimate. So, you know, so there's this little approval flow, then it's a job booked type of thing. So there's another calendar appointment, you know. And a lot of times, like what you're trying to do is like visualize these these steps where it's like, okay, so lead comes in, there's interaction between the time when they come in and an estimate gets booked. So we need coverage over that. So estimate booked is like milestone 1. Okay, what happens after an estimate's booked? Well, we need to get them to the place where they approve it. So there's like some automations and stuff that run like in that. And then, okay, now it's approved. So now the job needs to be scheduled and we need a down payment. So job scheduled, down payment, you know, so you just go in between these like milestones and those become each of your pipeline stages. And so B007, like even in that flow, even though we don't have any estimate stuff in the small business, you could still use B007 for each of those, like the estimate booked appointment, the first job booked appointment, like and you know, sometimes you have multi-day jobs and all that, so that gets into more advanced. But either way, so in high level, you have to figure out if you're going to book a whole job, do you just like do it every day on the calendar for the duration of the job, or do you, you know, so there's some trickery there, but anyways, you could use B007, so every time one of the appointments is booked, you know, like on, like, so you could repurpose, like, you know, the schedule a call with us calendar for like the estimate booked calendar. Then you could reposition the 15-minute callback calendar as like the initial job calendar or something like that, and, you know, customize some of the language and the automations even if you want. Every time one of those appointments gets booked on their respective calendar, sends it to that stage in the pipeline, which you could trigger on from the tag router in V007. So in the tag router, you just would go to, you know, here, I'll show you. I got to pull up in my B007. Should I pull up in the whole thing?
Rob, I also put a link in the chat for the question you had about what industries are high risk.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
So here's B007's tag router. And so you know, like, so if a canceled appointment comes in on like an estimate, the estimate book, then that's probably not going to be a huge deal. But what happens if, like, you know, you have the job scheduled and the appointment gets canceled somehow, you know? So anyways, there's different considerations, but in the tag router, if you just find the event that you're looking for, so if it's like appointment status is confirmed, because you want that to report to the pipeline. So you could see right here, we have it reporting to main leads pipeline. But if you had another pipeline, just wherever the appointment kind of confirmed stage is on the pipeline, you could just map it right here in the confirmed lane. And if you want a disposition, so like you could customize the form also that the business gets after the appointment. Like if you're a fencing company or something like that, or a roofing company, and you want there to be like specific things on the form afterwards, like, you know, gave them an estimate on spot, or, you know, like approved the estimate, or needs another, like whatever it is, I don't even know. But there, I don't know if you even know what I'm talking about with the appointment status form, but I'll show you real quick. So this is the appointment status form, you know, that the business gets after the appointment. And down here, there's this appointment status custom field. And so like if we go to custom fields and look at the appointment status one. These are the options that we have in here right now, like no show, showed, sold, not interested, not yet ready, unqualified, spam, unable to contact, contacted. So if you think about like a roofing company, it's like after they look at the roof, instead of like this flow, if you want to have like a custom flow of different options, you know, that they could select, even pertaining to like what you need to get an estimate out to them specifically. So there's all sorts of like little customizations you could do is what I'm saying, but to really make the flow like theirs. But like B007 is a good example, is you have kind of all the building blocks there. And at the very least, if all you're wanting to do is pipelines, you could just create a pipeline and map stuff from the tag router directly into a pipeline. Any of the events and any of the tag routers.
Okay.
So like if you, for example, with a fencing company, so when they take a down payment, as soon as high level has the ACH, I don't know if they have the, do they have the, anybody know if they have the ACH for invoices out yet? I don't think it's out yet, right?
Yes.
It is out. Okay.
Mhm.
So that
And
becomes
tech support.
viable. That becomes viable now for, you know, like a fencing company might take, or a roofing company might take like a $5,000 deposit on something, so they don't want to throw that on a credit card, you know. So most of them have been doing it outside of high level, but you can in theory send someone an invoice now, do the deposit that way. And so B005 would now be a candidate. We could probably use that as well. And same thing with the tag router. If we want one of those like invoice paid or invoice sent events for like the down payment for a fence or for a roof, then, and we wanted these like invoice sent or invoice paid to trigger on a pipeline, then you could just add the pipeline stage here, just like we have with the main pipeline for your own pipeline, you know, whichever one you want to use. So
Okay, so basically we have the option to use the existing pipeline and potentially add stages to it, or I guess modify the name of the stages, or we can just straight up create a new pipeline and then use the tag router as well for just directing it towards those new pipeline stages. We can kind of do both, right?
yeah, I mean, so if you add stages to the existing pipeline, then none of the existing stuff will be affected, and you can just map stages to that accordingly. If you start reordering the stages on the pipeline, that can sometimes cause some chaos in the workflows. But the only thing, again, that you would need to remap is just the opportunity actions that are in the tag routers. So if you wanted to just completely butcher the main leads pipeline, customize it entirely, And that all you'd have to do is just go back through the workflows and hit these anytime you see the add to pipeline and just change it. But it's always going to be in the tag routers. It's not going to be buried in any other workflows or anything like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, so it'll just be purely the tag router. Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, I guess that gives me something to work off of. Yeah, I don't know if you guys were planning on creating any additional content for the small business 2.0 for, I guess, like customizing and doing things like this. Because I know it, like, I love how you guys went this modular approach with the ability to, create a lot of custom stuff off of what you guys laid as a foundation. But like initially, conceptually, like thinking about it, it's a little tough when you start getting into it. Like conceptually it makes sense, but when you start getting into it, it's like, oh shit, how am I actually going to do this?
Yeah, man. Yeah, those of you that are like now actually wanting to go down the customization path, like I don't even entirely know what type of content we need. So
Yeah.
the best thing would be for me to probably just help you do whatever it is you're trying to do. And I mean, I mean, if you guys are okay with it, I can even record video, like a few videos of us just sorting things out and throw those into the course. Like, you know what I'm saying? So other people could hear those conversations, or I can, obviously sanitize them and reshoot them. But either way, I just need, it would help me to walk you through it, whatever it is you're trying to do. And that would help me get content ideas for the course. So,
Yeah, I think what would be best, like just initially thinking about it, is like an example like this, where it's like, okay, in terms of use cases that people will need to customize, right, for their own niche or whatever, is first off like the pipeline. If they want to create a custom pipeline. So I think like content showing an example of, hey, let's create a custom pipeline and going through that process of how you would do it, kind of like we just explained now. It can be very simple, but at least just to get the idea of it. Then the second thing I would think is like payments, right? Like using the tag router and getting an idea of how to do that with the payment automations, because every business takes payments at different times and in different ways, right? And then the third thing I guess would be calendars as well. Just because if it's a service-based business or an actual like one-to-one kind of sales type business, for booking calls and appointments.
If you give me some use cases in the payments category or the calendars category that you need to like figure out how to do, I could do that. And same with the pipeline one would be easy. The payments and the calendars ones, as long as I know what it is that you're trying to do, then like what the particular use case is, then I can do that for sure.
Right. Well, that actually leads into a second question I had, which is with regards to service calendars. So obviously High Level now has the ability to have, appointments for services with durations and resources and all that, right? So in terms of what's available here in the Small Business 2.0, how would you orient and customize, I guess with regards to a service-based business like that? I guess you have to turn on in labs, but
Yeah, let me actually do that real quick. Turn on everything, dude. Yeah. Is it showing up on yours?
Let's see.
Because I couldn't remember when they were actually pushing the service calendar out. I mean, either way, it's coming soon if it's not already sitting there.
Yeah, I was
But
playing with it. That's weird. Just let me go back into the account real quick and see. Did you turn it on at the agency level? Because you have to turn it on from there, I believe. Yeah, it's still here. If you go to labs of the agency level, all right. Oh, what? That's so weird. Does it work for any of you guys? Because yeah, I have it rolled out here. I have the service menu and everything for this sub account. Did they pull it back or something? That's weird. I
Hmm.
still have it active for mine though. So
Let me see again here. It looks like it didn't toggle some of these on. Okay. Just refreshing it. Well. Well, dang it.
You refresh it,
that's
reboot
so
this.
weird. It works for you guys, right? Like everyone else on this call, if you guys played with it or Charles,
I haven't messed with them. I've seen them, but I haven't messed with them.
that's weird.
I stay away from service based. Well, because the problem still comes in is the calendars still have a really hard time with how do you set the location. If you're meeting at the client's location, not the business's location, how do you dynamically update that location for the appointment? So it just gets a little tricky.
What were you were going down a path though, Rob, with the you're about to ask something.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
basically how the small business 2.0 is set up for individual calendars for team members, right? Well, now like if you're trying to customize this snapshot for service-based businesses and you want to use, the service calendar, this new service calendar that high level release, I'm just curious how you would actually go about orienting it towards service-based businesses, in the whole kind of picture of the small business 2.0 snapshot.
It would just be in your appointment reminder flow.
yeah,
So the only thing you'll have to make sure is that you change the event type to any. I would change it to any instead of normal or recurring. Just set it to any. So that way, if they happen to create a calendar within that group, because I think the way that it's set up right now is that the notification is firing off of one of the triggers is the group. So if you have a group of calendars, as long as they're creating the calendars within that group, which is group 1, I believe, in the small business, and in the modular, there's a trigger, the trigger all the way to the left in the appointment workflow, reminder workflow. That'll be the one that you want to make sure is changed to any type. So that way, even if they set up a recurring or a normal one time, it'll catch it.
It's going to be in all these appointment confirmed, like the 3.1, the 4.1. It'd be in the trigger.
That event
type. Yeah.
To set it to
So
any.
any.
And that's one thing I would say, probably in later versions of this, any updates, that's probably something I would just go ahead and update, switch it to any instead of normal.
That's a good idea.
Because it'll save it from people that, like, I just had an account that they were totally confused as to why only one appointment reminder was going out for multiple appointments, and that's what it was. I had to go back into the workflows and switch all the triggers to any instead of normal.
Mm-hmm. I'll make a note of that. The other thing on a service calendar is if you're taking like Stripe products will be associated with those services that you're charging for. And so so if you ended up using B005, and the checkout sale, right now there's 2 triggers. It's sale and any funnel. Pardon me. it's in the funnel that comes with, I don't know why it says in any funnel. I need to fix that. But it's the funnel that comes with the B005, but there's also over here global product is, and there's nothing selected because it's supposed to be mapped to whatever the global product is. But if you have a service calendar that has like 4 products on it, then you would want to add all of those global products to this to the trigger group. So that way you could trigger or still send a receipt and all that type of normal payment type stuff that you, if you wanted to do that in B005 with the service calendar. So if you make that modification Charles mentioned, and then make the modification in B005, then that should be all you need to do to get it up and running. But that's a good either way, that's a good another example of like a use case that would be helpful to probably put into a video for people, just to understand how to manipulate the calendar type from like to do a class booking around robin, like a service calendar.
Right, yeah, that would be for sure. Just because, you know, obviously businesses use different types of calendars, and initially I'm a little hesitant to go in and like start adjusting calendars and stuff. And like still have it be linked, you know, accordingly. So but
Dude, just
yeah.
throw some shiz in a sandbox account, man, and give yourself permission to go and F stuff up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's the only way you can do it. And then if you mess stuff up too bad, just nuke the sandbox account and start over.
right.
That's what we do all the time. So you get deep enough in, you're like, I don't know what I even did anymore. I'm just gonna delete it all and start over.
Or sign up for the Academy and get a free sandbox account
There you go.
with stuff already in it.
What do you mean by that?
It's part of the Academy. Even if you just get level 1, you get a sandbox with automations already in it that you can go in and screw around with and whatever. You don't even have to do it in your own agency. How about that?
Oh, I didn't know that. I actually have the Academy. That was like one of the first things I got, but I didn't even know about that.
Yep.
Okay. All right, cool. I don't know if anyone else has other questions, because you know I'll keep going. So
I have to drop, but you guys can continue if you'd like. I'm gonna discontinue the Facebook Live.
Want to learn Go High Level in a structured format? Check out the GHLacademy.com by Extendly. We guarantee to save you 6 months of wasted subscription costs for High Level. Just visit the GHLacademy.com.